Hello, Jimmy.
It's me, your Uncle Danny. Have you no hello for me?
Hello, Uncle Danny.
That's the idea. For a while there I thought I had the wrong man. Well, come on. You've a tea waiting for you.
It's okay. I'll carry this.
Ah, you look deadbeat. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me.
I'll carry it.
All right, if that's what you want. Well, come on now. Your Auntie Molly has a tea waiting. And you know what? She has a cake. Are you fit? Well, come on. Let's get you off the train then, before it heads back with you. Or is that what you want?
Bulbin, a magic mountain, That's the church where Yeats is buried. Cast a cold eye on life and death, horseman pass by. Huh? Yeats, the great Irish poet. Did you never hear of him? Good God, I thought the least you got in the 6 counties was an education.
I was looking at the birds.
The crows.
The rooks.
Aye. They're great black devils that they are. And you can't catch them. You pick up a stone and they're away, eating their heads off everything. They should destroy their nests now while they're breeding. It's the only way. You know what the old Irish used to think about the crows, Jimmy? Lost, tormented souls. Wicked, evil. Hanging in the sky, crying out for pity. In these parts, Jimmy, there's very little pity for a crow.
Oh, Anne-Marie? Anne-Marie, who's that coming outside? Do you hear Daddy coming with a new brother for you?
Hey.
Yes, Daddy's coming with a new brother.
Come on, Jimmy, Mary.
All right, out you get, Jimmy. Come on, you have your cousins to meet. Out you get.
Hello, Jimmy. You're very, very welcome.
Right now, let's see now. That's Desmond, Teresa, Martin, Bridie, baby Anne-Marie, and of course your Auntie Molly. Will you remember all that now?
Have you lost your tongue, Jimmy? Well, don't you worry now. We won't be long finding you another one. Will you lot get inside and have your tea? You can finish your jobs later. Will you come inside, Jimmy? No, you go inside. There's a good boy. God's name, Dan. What's the boy got?
I don't know. Whatever it is, he's clinging like his life depended on it.
Didn't you ask him?
I didn't want to push him. It's something he brought from home, probably. Something from home.
Put the doll away now for me to need that. There?
No.
You take that. That's a good girl. Here, Desmond, do you want to Jimmy, give me over your cup. I'll give you some more tea. Oh, Jimmy, listen, do you not want this thing put into your bedroom with the rest of your stuff? Your Uncle Dan will take it in for you. All right, now come on, I want to shift it.
No, leave it.
I'm not having it on the table.
It's all right, Molly. It's doing no harm.
Well, it's spoiling the tea, Dan.
No, please.
I'm not having it while we're eating.
Molly,
Come on,
say
it's
it.
It's a bird! It's a parrot! It's a parrot! It's not a parrot!
Will you sit down, the lot of you. Right, Jimmy. Secret's out. Well, it's half out, anyway. A bird, is it? All right, let's have the other half, then. There's a cake waiting. It's a crime to keep a cake waiting, but the box first. Isn't that right, Molly?
What?
The box first.
Okay, the box first.
It's a bird! I knew it! It's a crow! It's not a crow, it's a rook!
I want it out of the house, Dan. Come on.
For God's sake, Molly, the thing is in a
I
cage.
don't care. Get it out, Dan.
All right. Jimmy, take the bird out of the bag. Show him to your cousins in the light. You'd like to see him in the light, isn't that right, lad?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Come on, let's go out to bed.
Come on, Jim. Give him a bit of air. That's one way of breaking the ice.
I don't want that bird or any bird inside this house. I can't have a hen inside the door, and you know that. As for that black evil thing,
It's black, all right. It's no more evil than the cow you're milking, you know.
I know nothing of the sort. Jesus, my hair stands up like cornstalk just thinking about it. The black eyes of it, the beady black eyes of it.
Yeah, you're talking like an Egypt.
But eat it or not, it's not coming into the house, Dan.
Molly, you and me, we've taken something on. His father was my brother. We knew his mammy. We've got a duty to them both.
The boy is welcome, you know that. I should God bless him after what he's been through. He could have the bed from under me, but not that crow. Okay, now there's one piece of cake left here. Who wants it?
Me.
Yes, now, just a minute, please. I think it's right that Jimmy, as the new member of this family, should have it if he wants it. Do you want the butt end, Jimmy?
I heard you Ulstermen were mad, but you're not daft, that's for sure. Right, back to work, everyone. Teresa, help your mother with the dishes. Lots of turf, Martin. Desmond, have you finished the milking?
I have.
Good man, we'll get the can out the front. Your Uncle Pat will be round in half an hour. Jimmy, you ever see a calf being fed? Oh, that is a rare sight. They'd eat the buckets of the wood if you let them, wouldn't it? You got all the eggs picked up?
I think so.
Well, thinking so is not enough. Well, have another look. That leaves just the two of us, Jim. Did you ever see a farm before? Never? Well, won't take you long to see this one. Huh? Now, your Aunt Molly will mind the bird, won't you, Molly? You'll watch it.
Oh, well, yeah, when he's not watching me.
Say hello to him there. Oh. Gee, said that fellow wouldn't hurt a fly. Would you? Has to be done, Jim. In the country, it has to be done. He's a man after my own heart. He's no bloody farmer.
Look at this. It's a photo of your Tim. God, what a waste. It's a terrible waste. What sort of animals are they up there?
Our sort. Shifted a bit in their balance, that's all. They care too much of the think they do, so that anything else, like Tim's life, just isn't important. Well,
Thank God we live in the south. That's all I can say. Lives are still important around here, anyway.
Aye, what kind of lives are they?
Ah, don't start bleating in that field again.
Ah, will you look at the lot of us, Molly? 15 miles from the edge of a bloody chaos, and we sit here among the chickens, clucking, scratching away at our own little piles of muck. Heads under our wings if we catch a sniff of gunpowder on the breeze.
That border says it's none of our business.
Before long, Molly, it won't be just sniffs of powder we'll be getting. They'll be rolling barrels of it, and no border's going to stop it.
Evening, Dan. Evening, Molly. Did he arrive then? Your 6 counties man.
He did.
God help us. I thought it was a child you had coming. Your man there could eat the side off a cow, man. The name of God, how are you going to feed him? Are you as strong as you look, young Jim? You have to give old Pat a hand with this can here. My God, he's got the knack. You see that? Yes, it must be inborn. I remember your daddy. We went to school together. Him, me, and your Uncle Danny. All right, Dan. Great crack was Tim. You'd never see a fella short of a hand for the old Tim. Be all your work done, men? Have the jobs finished, Danny?
They have.
All right, then. Hope you get the lot of you.
Go on, Brady.
Are you not coming then, Jimmy? Are you afraid of a bit of work, are you?
He's a wee bit shy still, Pat. Don't push him. Give him a couple of days.
It's a crow, Uncle Pat.
Indeed, it's not, Teresa. What the hell did he teach you in over there? Arabic? That fella's a rook. All right, Jim, with the white snout.
There's a rig.
Didn't I tell you? Come on, Jimmy boy. Put him up here. It's better than the pigeon if we get stuck. Go back, Prince. Go back. Go back. Go back. Sit down there now. Sit down there. Now watch this dog. He'll tear you limb from limb as soon as look at you.
Is the spark okay, Dan? And I'd say Pat now will have a real little bonfire going in James before too long's past.
He might know. A regular Captain Birdseye.
See that castle, Jim boy? That's owned by an Englishman. And all the land around it. Irish land. Time was they had their heels into all of it. Mine, your Uncle Danny's. They even taxed us for digging our own sod. But we took it back. Kicked their Anglo-Saxon arses and took it back. I thank God for that castle, Jim. It keeps me burning. Now, I want you to look at that and remember your daddy. Do you know what a martyr is? A martyr is a man who is being killed for his faith, like your daddy was killed for his. O Ireland, take him to thy breast who died for thee, and within thy bosom let him rest amongst the martyrs sanctified.
Can we be going now, Pat? I have my homework to do before I go to bed.
Me too.
Aye, come on. Young Jim's took enough on for today. Home, James, and don't spare the diesel.
I had no choice. Jim was your brother. Kathleen's been dead for years. You had to take him in.
Jesus, you didn't roll out the red carpet, did you?
I was a bit on edge because What is that?
What's wrong? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with Jim?
Jim, shh. You're all right, Jim. Jim, shh. Be quiet, he's all right. Will you go back to bed? Lie down, the lot of you. Come on, you're all right, Jim. You're all right, Jim. Shh. You're all right. There's no one going to harm you. Teresa, go back to bed. He'll be okay. Oh, Teresa, best bring in his bird, huh? He'd like his bird. Bring it in here. You're all right now, Jimmy. No one's going to harm you. I'll see to that.
I've got some milk, Jimmy, and I'll heat it up for you. That'll make you feel much better now.
Do you want to tell us, Jimmy, what it was that frightened you, hmm? What it was you saw? Hmm? There, Teresa's after bringing in your bird. Look. Well, Lord, he's frightened, too. He wants to know what's wrong with his pal. We all do. Hmm?
It's a man. A giant man.
A giant man. Well, how giant is he? Is he as big as the ceiling, is he? What does he look like, this man?
He has on a big hat and a big cloak. He's after me, Uncle Dad. He's after me.
He's all right. You're all right. We're all here now. You're safe. Well, who is he, this man?
He's a Protestant.
He's a Protestant. How do you know that, I wonder? Huh?
He's different from us. He's telling me to do things, to do bad things.
I see.
There you are now. You have that. That'll make you feel much better.
I tell you what, Auntie Molly. I think he could come in and sleep with us for tonight, hmm? Just for tonight.
All right.
Would you like that, Jim? Right, but come on now. We'll get you put down and tuck you in. That's the man. And the bird can come too. I'll carry him in for you.
Danny? Danny, the doctor wants a word with you.
I'm coming.
Oh, Danny, how are you?
I'm fine, thank God.
Everybody thanks God. Nobody thanks me. Still, if I have to play second best, I'll not grumble at that sort of competition. What do you say, Molly, huh?
I should think not.
She persuaded me to have some breakfast, Dan. Not that I needed much persuading.
How's the boy?
Young James, is it? He told me... Sit down, the pair of you. I have a thing or two to tell you, if you don't mind me talking and eating at the same time. Is his door shut?
It is, yes.
Good. God, Molly, what bread. Delicious. The child's hallucinating, all right. After what he told me of last night's events, there's no doubt in my mind.
I told you.
Did he talk to you, Doctor?
And why wouldn't he? Haven't I the best bedside manner since Lazarus walked? It was hard, mind you, but I finally got him going.
Well, what did you find out?
Well, he's not physically ill. Oh, he's run down. Who wouldn't be after what he's been through? But there's no physical cause as far as I could see.
Could there be?
Would I be looking for it if I couldn't? Some epileptics have hallucinations, schizophrenics too. But man's neither. Young Jimmys are entirely emotionally precipitated. Have you another drop of tea, Molly? You know, when I go beyond to England, tea's never the same. Now, that child's had a very bad time, Molly. He unloaded on me in there, and once the floodgates opened, it all came pouring out.
Well, what did he tell you?
He told me about Protestants coming up the street, exploding bombs and guns, and the army attacking, and he told me about shooting and men all covered with blood and God knows what else, and the constant fear of his father being interned.
Tim was involved in nothing.
Oh, since when has that mattered? Sure, they'd give Paddy McGinty's goat 6 months as a matter of principle. Anyway, that fear's obsolete now, but the other fears remain. They're very deeply embedded.
They're causing him to see things like this giant fella.
Well, I put it to the child that this man he's seeing is a projection of his own fears. He seems to understand this. And can you think of anything better to call it from the boy's angle than a Protestant? Now, you know that a rabbit can be so transfixed with fear that he just can't move. He shams death in hopes that the danger will somehow pass. Well, people do the same. They play dead to avoid getting emotionally involved, to save themselves from more pain. And Jim's giant is a Protestant because Protestants are different from him. He isn't to blame for anything that they do, and they can tell Jim to do something bad because Jim can't even accept the responsibility for his own bad self.
You've been doing a bit of reading.
I'm there now.
I said to Molly last night, I told her the child was like a walking corpse.
That's right. He is. He's pretending he's not alive. It's safer that way.
How do we set about bringing him back to life?
By doing just what you are doing. By making a place for him in your home and your heart. And by trying to save him from reminders. But you've got one hell of a problem. I'll not deny it.
Have you got your bill, Doctor?
Danny, I can remember the real rebellion. I was only a child like Jim, but I can still taste the pride of those days. And the hell that's being created now in the name of Irish freedom is a stain on that memory. By tending young James today, I was helping to keep my pride intact. I'll be back in a week. Good day to you.
Goodbye now,
Right.
sir.
Thanks.
Hi, how are you?
Molly, off to school then, Jim?
He is. It's his first day. He hasn't been too well at all, you know.
So I hear. Are you fit now, Jim? Fit for a bit of fishing, are you?
Give him a couple of days, Pat, and he'd love it, wouldn't you, Jimmy?
You're on then. Sure, you and me'll tear a ton out. Them mackerel will think it's the end of the world.
See you, Pat.
Couple of days now, don't forget.
How's your wife? Uncle Pat?
No. Not parents either. They died and they left him that house there to live in.
Is he lonely then?
He is, Jimmy. Yeah, I do believe he is. Do you like your Uncle Pat, Jimmy?
I do.
You seem a bit doubtful.
No, I just...
What is it?
I wish he wouldn't talk about Daddy.
bombing and creeping away into the black like toads, killing and maiming innocent people. Hasn't old Tady Tom Tracy resigned, chucked in his badge in disgust, and him after taking a no-yara pension for the last 50 years for fighting for the cause?
He doesn't agree with the violence.
It's the only thing he does agree with. It's true. Put him in front of a tan's throat now and he'd tear it out whole, so he would. And hold it up and show it to you. I'm telling you, he took back his pension, and his wife's as well, chucked it back in their faces and told them he didn't want that kind of bloody money.
Tady's wife, she was never IRA. What the hell did she get a pension for?
Didn't she play the fiddle for them?
God, isn't it a holy show, though, lads? All those bombs and bullets banging and clattering around our heads just down the street there. Or we can all sit here jawing and laughing and think nothing of it. Just think about our dinners.
Well, I'm not laughing, John. When I hear about them Protestant bastards across that border, Jesus Christ, is there any one that any young buck worth a knuckle would want to blow them all to hell? This is a few years younger, I'd be lighting the fuse myself.
Ah, to hell with you, pal. It's not your age that's stopping you. It's your stomach.
What are you talking about, stomach?
If the Free State declared war on the North tonight and set about sieging back the 6 counties for the Ireland that they are, you'd be there marching with the rest of them. Armed to the teeth and banging the drums, wouldn't you?
I would indeed.
I will stop this yelling about it. Your age is stopping you. You've no more stomach for bombing pubs than any of us, so stop your blather and pay for the pint, huh?
Well said, John Joe. Good luck to you.
If it was left to the likes of you, all fart and no fury, sure we'd have no Free State at all. There you are, John.
Is it an ordinance for yourself?
It is, God help me, it is. Though Jesus only knows for how long. The amount of bollocks has been talked here.
Tusa, Pádraig.
Hugam. Ní hugam.
6 years. Tusa, a Hamish. Jesus, a Hamish. Are you all right, James? Is it double Dutch stew, is it?
It is.
Isn't it a shame? Did they not bother teaching you the Irish in the 6 counties? Were they too busy ramming English history down your throat? Can you sharpen pencils?
I can't.
Oh, they taught you that today. Now, these are brand new, a year's supply. Do you think you can put a nice, neat point on them for me? Can you manage that, do you think? Come on, then. The machine's at the back of the class. Get on with it. I wouldn't want to bore you with the language of your fathers. Perhaps when you're finished, you'll treat us all to a rendering of God Save the Queen. Officer Ish.
Hugam. Ní hugam. Hug. Near hug. Egg horse.
They should be forced to work. Forced to work. A hard day's work never hurt no one.
No, but we got a hard day's work doing nothing hurts. A hell of a lot of damage it does. You've a cow that has a calf. She can go out and pick it up and plant it on its feet. And the next day, you can go out, pick it up again, plant it on its feet. And the next day, and the next. And be Christ, the bugger is 2 years old, and he's still sitting there, waiting to be picked up and planted on his feet. Sitting there waiting, if you were idiot enough to do it.
You're all talk, the lot of you, so you are. Is there any justice in the North, or is there not? Are there men being ripped from their homes? Wives and kids waiting and crying and flung into jails and tortured for years on end without trial? Or aren't there? Because if they are, then I want to do something about it. I want to kick the British Army, Paisley and all his Protestant scum out of Ireland. And I'd blow up the whole British Isles to do it if I had to.
Spoken like a true patriot, Gerard. Jesus, while there's bucks like you still around, the country's tradition is secure. We'll be cutting chunks out of each other's throats till kingdom come, and that's a certainty.
Do you not like your country then, Dan?
I despair for it. I swear if you put 6 Irishmen in a sack and shook it up and spilled them out again, they come out in 3 factions of 2, all spitting and yelling and cutting chunks out of each other.
We've too many causes, and that's for sure.
Is a free Ireland not cause enough for you?
It is, but free of poverty and squalor and backhanders. God knows the Brits are bastards, but let's wait till we kick out our own breed of lackeys up in Dublin.
And what would you do about the 6 counties?
I'd get rid of priests and patriarchs and we'd be on our way. The only way for a united Ireland is to make our bit worth joining. Whether you like it or not, Danny, there's a war going on up there. Catholics, Protestants, they're murdering each other, so they are. You can't stand behind your drink and pretend it's not happening.
Oh, he knows it's happening all right. Hasn't he fired a couple of salvos in the Democrat on abortion and birth control and the infallibility of the Pope? But all at safe range, with no chance of return fire. But to take sides now on the north, be it Provo, official, orange or red, white and blue, might make the theorising stop and make him get up off his arse and do something for a change. And Dan wouldn't like that.
John, I want some sugar. Molly asked me.
Surely. £2?
Oh, she said 4. Good luck, lads. God bless.
Good luck, John.
Oh, Dan, when you get to your house, ask your Tim's cub, young Jimmy. Just ask him whose side he's on. Okay then, boys. I'll see you all.
Good luck now.
Now, Gerard, don't go blowing yourself up.
And don't you believe all you read in the papers?
Good luck, lads.
He's a right bloody idiot, that fella. And he'd kick a spud in the eye for staring at him.
I'll tell you something, Danny boy. If I was young James, I'd want reminding. I'd want it whispered in my ear every minute of every day. I'd want to be told the Protestant thugs had killed my father.
He told Molly this morning, Pat, he said you wish you wouldn't talk about his father. Now be kind to him, for God's sake, Pat. You're a kind man for all your bullhead. I'm warning you, Pat. I want no more pouring hate into that child, or God help me, I'll show you a face of hate that you wouldn't believe, not in your blackest dreams.
Did we miss all the action?
Oh, there was no action.
No, there never is there?
It's better than too much. See you, Dan. Come on.
Here, Dan. You've been needing this. To write to the Democrat.
Will you have some tea, Jimmy?
No thanks, I want none.
We've got to build you up. You know, the doctor said to make you fat and put some muscle on you. You heard her. Come on, sit down and have some tea with there's some left, will you?
I want none.
Jimmy, go out and bring in some turf. Your Aunt Molly wants some turf. Well, now, would you?
So, what are you going to do? About the pencils.
Pay for them, buy a new lot. What else?
And I'm damn sure that he doesn't do it again.
How?
By telling him that you'll give him a hiding if he does.
Give him a hiding. After the hiding he's had already, what kind of a hiding could I give him?
You know, something's got to be done. Now, Teresa will tell you that teacher did a raging dance and it's touch and go to take him back at all, Dan. Isn't that true, Teresa?
Yeah, she was very sarcastic with him.
What the hell are they in the job for at all, these women? Picnic, a bed of roses, that it? The child needs helping, not kicking out the door. Jesus, if it's pencils she wants, I'll buy her 1,000 boxes. Another 1,000 for Jimmy. Have his own to smash. She can sit there gloating over hers like a bloody old miser.
Outside and finish your job. It doesn't matter. Take your bread in your hand. Come on, I want to talk to your daddy now. Come on, take that with you. Dan, what did the doctor say?
You were there, you know bloody well what she said.
Remind me.
Ah, come off.
No, the exact words she said about how we can help him.
She said by making a place for him in our home.
Right. That's what I thought she said. Now, do you know why she said that? Because that child needs to belong. If he's ever going to live again, he has to know that he's going to wake up in the same bed every morning, see the same faces, have the same things to do, and have the same things asked of him.
That's right.
Look, he once had spelt out for him, Dan. He broke those pencils to make somebody notice him. Now, you were right, he's crying out for help, and we've got to give him an answer. Or he's going to climb back into that coffin and just put the lid down tight.
And your answers are hiding.
Oh, he's got to be stopped. He's got to be told exactly where he can tread and exactly where he can't tread.
I was in John Morris's this morning.
Were you?
They were talking about the North.
What else?
Had a bit of a tussle with Pat.
Oh, did you know? That'd make a change for you. Breathing fire and brimstone again, was he?
And worse. Some of the things he said about me got home.
Like what, for God's sake?
He said I always fight me battles at long range. It's safer when there's little chance of a serious answering shot.
And that's what got home, is it?
It is.
What else did he say? You said things.
I'm a rebel in theory only, Molly. He said it and he's right. Sitting there grumbling and griping like a bloody old ulcer. Jesus, I can see it all so plain, too. All the stupid, superstitious, mind-stunting graft that's going on all around. Priest-ridden people, crushed by fear into moles, making moral-bound mugs out of them. Set flying at each other's throats to stop them stopping and thinking and realizing who the real bastards are. What do I do with this glorious vision of the truth, huh? Carry it in front of me, a flaming banner, wreaking havoc and destruction in the fleeing ranks of the devil, huh? Like hell I do. Sit behind a glass of stout and I moan. God forgive me for the terrible, gutless waste that it is.
And so?
So what?
What's all this got to do with young Jimmy?
Jimmy's starting again. He's starting afresh, or nearly afresh.
What do you mean?
He has something that none of our kids have. He has fight. God bless them, it's not their fault. They're born doped up. They learn life like a catechism, not to be questioned. But that spark in Jimmy in the school today had started to kindle. He showed defiance. Now look at the people around here, tugging their forelocks to church and state. It's a quality to be treasured like gold.
Well, you'll be tugging your own forelock in a couple of weeks, remember?
Huh? Oh.
Haven't we the station in the house? It's our turn. I told you, Father Brady asked us.
And I told you to get us out of it. I'm not having that bloody old fascist chanting mass in my house. He can go to hell.
No doubt he will, in time. But while we're waiting, we have to live in his parish. The kids have to go to school. You have to trade cattle. You have to sell milk. You have to buy in the local shops. You can't breathe air in these parts without his blessing. So you'll pull every hair in your head to him and you'll stop our lives being made a misery.
You hear that, do you? You think you're hard done by sitting there in your cage, huh? Jesus, for all the freedom I have myself, I'd be as well hopping in with you.
So you want young Jimmy to pick up the rebellion where you left off, is that it?
No, where I never started, Molly.
Well, first of all, we'll have to get the child believing he's alive again. If only to get rid of this fella.
little bastard, you! You're mad! You're mad, so you are! You're bored. You're bored. You're bored. Now, what the hell's the use of your bored, huh? What's the use of it? You see that? Rats did that, Jim. Rats. And what stops them destroying the whole lot of it, huh? What kills them? Huh?
The cat does. The cat.
Aye, the cat that you were just trying to kill, huh? And what does your bird do for his keep, huh? What does he do? Answer me.
None. Does none.
Huh? Come on now, that's all over now. Shit, there's lots of lives left in that old cat. Wouldn't the wash have done him good, huh? Come on, I have a thing to show you.
There's the new day dawning, Jim. A brand new day pouring up over the hills. 1 billion times before it's done it. And there's billions still to come. And those great hills there, they'll see the lot of them. Do you know what it is you're standing in? It's a fort, a castle, a fairy castle. Jesus, you're Irish, all right, you believe, Anton. Still, you're in good company. There's hardly a man, woman, or child for miles around who'll touch a stone of it.
Why not?
God, they'd have terrible bad luck. And they would, too. They believe so hard in it, they'd bring it down on their own heads, so they would. The mind can do that. But you know that? It's true. Unless you free it. Give your thoughts some air. Look backward and forward and east and west. Cut things to size. See yourself as those great hills see you. Teeming little midget of a creature, breathing out a couple of thousand days in the billions they've seen, warming their backs. Huh? See, the men who built this fort, they huffed and puffed their lives away thousands of years ago. They snarled and stuck out their chests, clattered their shields. They cursed and hated and feared and distrusted and killed and died. And grief grew rampant round their feet like some terrible kind of weed. That same grief, same you've tasted, the same bitter taste. And those same hills were there, watching. And yet, you know, those hills are dying. For all their years, they're slowly dying, wearing away, crumbling to a level dust. Dust you kick around on your boot. No one ever even known they existed. Not us midgets, not us men. We're growing, as a creature, as a creation. We're slowly blossoming, Jim. Weeding out our faults. And all of us know, you and me, all of us living now, we've got to carry on with that. Not fearing or hating or wanting revenge, but thinking of those who went before us, those who are coming after us. We've got to calmly sort out for ourselves all the deformities, all the blemishes, all those sores that we can pin down now, and pin them down and throw them back into history where they belong. Not for Catholics or Protestants or Hindus or Buddhists or Christian scientists, but for all of us human beings, the whole great mess of us. Everybody. Did you understand any of that?
I think so.
It's a good job you got me up so early, or I'd never have worked it out for myself. We're not gods, Jim. We never will be, but I'm damn sure we're nearer than we give ourselves credit for sometimes.
I'm sorry, Uncle Don. About the cat.
Ah, forget it. He was getting lazy on me. Wouldn't the dip wake him up a bit? That bird means a lot to you, I'd safely say. Did your daddy find them for you?
He's out for a trip in his truck. He'd hit it, broke its wing, so he set about mending it. We were all for freeing it, and then...
Well, he's welcome as long as you want to keep him. Doesn't he keep an eye on her Auntie Molly for me, huh? Hey, what do you say we frighten the living daylights out of her now?
Hi.
Give her breakfast in bed.
Well played, son.
Don't keep him chatting now. Come on, go in and change those clothes before you catch your death of cold.
God, Molly, give the boy a chance. Sure, he's played a great game. Old warriors never get cold, do they, Jim?
Don't know, never met one.
Wait till you get to Croke Park. Sure, don't they play the All-Ireland there with a hand grenade? Well, what do you
Great,
think?
Uncle Pat. Great.
What do you think of the initials there carved on the shaft? Can you make them out? What did they say?
Listen, come out into the light.
Yeah, let's go into the light.
Come on.
TD.
TD, Tim Donovan. Did your daddy stick your hold in James? He gave it to me for safekeeping the day he went north. I watched you play today just to be sure you were fit to have it. Tim would have been very proud of you, so he would. You play as fine a game as he did himself, God rest him.
Dan, come on out and have a look at Tim's old hurley stick.
I have a calf to feed.
All right, children, come on into bed. It's your bedtime now. Come on now. Say good night to your Uncle Pat. Good night, Good night, Bridie. Good night, Martin. Good night.
Don't forget to say a prayer for me, Teresa. Good girl.
That the house is looking
looking awful smart, Molly. All prepared for the Mass on Wednesday. I see you've got down hard at it.
We all did our share. It is a big occasion, you know. You coming yourself?
Would I miss it?
Don't know how we're all going to get in.
Ah, don't worry. They've been getting people into houses like this for hundreds of years. Listen, I'll be off and leave you to it.
All right. Oh, Pat, listen, thanks for the thought. The stick. You're very good to the child, you know.
He's a good boy, and so is his dad. Sure, I've got none of my own anyway.
That's true. But thanks all the same. The boy's delighted with it.
Well, say good night to Dan for me, will you, Molly?
I will.
Good night.
Night, Pat. Dan, are they... Now, you have just behaved like a big child. I'm disgusted with you.
How's that?
Pat! All right, I know you're frightened you might contaminate the boy or something, but when you just show a bit of kindness, I mean, what are you, jealous or something? Dan, that was a nice thing to do. Or are you so poisoned against that man that you can't see a bit of good at all in him?
Molly, Tim was my brother. I knew him better than anybody. Believe it or not, even better than Pat. And Tim was a football man. He never played more than a game or two of hurling in his life.
Dan, you're never going to tell the boy, are you?
It's best he knows the truth.
Yeah, best for who? Jimmy or yourself?
So where would you like the confessional?
For the fire, the best?
Would it not be too hot?
Or is it too cold? You have to make a confession yourself, you know.
I will not.
Oh, you will, so. If you have a mass said in your house, you have to make a confession. Now, the whole county's going to be looking on. What do you want to do? Have tongues wagging us into hell from here to Sligo?
It's joking me, Molly. The whole bloody circus. Look, wasn't I forced into having the thing in the house in the first place? Didn't you hold a gun to me head, huh? All right, you don't mind gritting me teeth and going through with it when it's happening around me, but don't ask me to join in.
Jesus, you know, you've got a pig head on you. You'd as soon make a holy show of your family than go against your so-called principles.
Yes, I would, because if my principles went to be yourselves, would be the first to suffer.
Jesus, Dan Donovan, you're a great big phony. I mean, the least you could give us is a bit of pride in you. Oh, why don't you go out now? Go on. Go out there and tell all your bar muckers to go on home because you think it's a circus they've come to. Go on out and give them a taste of your bloody principles.
He's here, Molly. Father Brady's here and the curate's with him.
All right, thanks. Well, go on. Now, what more could you want now? The old fascist himself out there waiting, done up like a cockerel. It's a martyr's dream setting, so it is. You'll go through the motions, my boyo. You'll go to confession. You'll beg forgiveness and you'll take your penance and you'll make it look good. If I can't have a rebel's wife's glory, I'll settle for a hypocrite's. Nolan, how are you?
Body of Christ.
Amen.
Body of Christ.
Amen.
Body of Christ.
Amen.
Body of Christ.
Amen.
Body of Christ.
Auntie Molly says you can go in there to confession. Father Nolan's free.
Nice. Have you been yourself?
I have.
Good man. Well, tell her I'm in.
Right.
Body of Christ. Body of Christ.
That's me, Father, for I have sinned. Against myself. I'm only kneeling here because I've got to be seen kneeling, that's all. I don't believe in what you preach or in your authority, and if I had any guts at all, I'd renounce it publicly, but I haven't. So will you do a man a favour and go through with the act for the sake of the wife and kids? Huh? God knows they'd be eaten alive, be every old gossip in Sligo if the truth came out.
Well, it must have taken a bit of courage to come out with that lot. In the face of a priest. And in confession, too. Though, come to think of it, isn't that the best place?
No, I should have told you on the doorstep before you set foot in the place. And if it was old Brady sitting there instead of yourself, doubt if I'd have said it at all. You're a young man, you know the score. So I'm asking you.
Oh, to play along?
That's it.
Well, I'll give you a blessing because God knows you need it. And that should give the necessary impression that all due formalities have been completed.
Thanks.
Will we have it out sometime, me and you?
Oh, any time you like, I'd be delighted.
Not on the pages of the Democrat now. You're not all over as the local dissident. I've been looking forward to having a go at you. But I'll save it. I'm a fair man. And have a slight psychological advantage over you at the moment, wouldn't you say?
I'd say you had all right, Father. I'd say you had.
All right, then. Remember, keep your guard up.
And what are they doing with all their bombings and shootings and kidnappings and killings? They're threatening the future and prosperity of every man, woman, and child in Ireland. Their actions could well mean the relaunching of the emigrant ships. It's time to stand up and be counted, as they will count us and line us up and gun us down on the football fields, as they did in other lands. We must be vigilant, every one of us, or our freedom could well be snatched away. Oh, there are lunatics among us with all their isms who are out to destroy everything which is sacred to us. And these are the real enemies, because sometimes we cannot recognize them for what they are. And they are merely the sowers, preparing the land for the harvest of destruction and subversion still to come. We are indeed fortunate and blessed that we have on our side a force of Gardaí that must rank amongst the best in the world. And who is responsible for this great tragedy? Who? It is the fault of old and ruthless men. Take all the...
I take it you don't much care for the sermon.
He's abusing my hospitality, so he is.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. Would you not have a man speak his mind in your house, huh? Even a priest.
Anyone but a priest. Anyone else can return that right. But your man is standing there in unassailable authority on my hearth. I ask you, Father, what would your Lord and Master think of that old Pharisee if he heard him?
Well, now, taking all things into consideration.
Like what?
Like his congregation, the situation, and the fact that the man is sincere.
What about the congregation? Are we some kind of mentally retarded species around here, or what?
No, people are just not used to thinking for themselves. And in the situation that exists in Ireland at the moment, I think it is right that they should look to their spiritual leaders for some sort of firm line. Father Brady is just giving the people what they need to help quell their anxiety.
Father Brady is giving the people what he needs to conserve the cosy living you've carved out for yourselves over the centuries, based on our ignorance, our superstition, and our fear. And Brady is fighting in there. Fighting to keep the ideas out and the money coming in.
Peter Feeney. God bless you, Peter. Terence O'Hara.
Well, if you feel so bitter, why aren't you fighting us tooth and nail, huh? The hell with what people think. And your wife and your kids. Should they blossom in the light of the courage of your convictions? What's holding you back, man, eh?
I'm frightened, Father. Frightened of being alone. Be a desperate, lonely life if it did speak my mind and then had to live by what I'd said.
I think you're frightened of the havoc you'd create if you did unloose the church's grip on the people. What would you offer them to give their lives purpose, shape, hope? Seat on the Soviet in place of a seat in heaven.
Look after the needs of the living. The dead can take care of themselves.
Today's living are tomorrow's dead, Danny, and those people in there know it. They'd cheerfully swap power temporal for life eternal. You just try them.
God bless you, Eddie. Mary Donovan. God bless you, Mary. Patrick Meehan. The Lord bless you, Patrick.
You breed ignorance, Father. You said yourself we're not used to thinking for ourselves, which leaves it to the likes of your man inside to come up with all the answers. Well, our generation's finished. It's gone. Our fate is sealed. But the kids, if one of them, just the odd one here and there, makes it, and you're finished, you'll be buried once and for all.
A lot of people said that over the last 2,000 years. And anyway, you're wrong, Danny. We don't keep kids in ignorance, far from it. Church is a great educator. Look at our record. Look what we give them.
I've looked at it. What you give them. You give them facts. The knowledge to defend themselves against the truth.
You're a bitter, frustrated man, Danny. I don't envy you. Don't envy you at all.
I don't ask for your envy, Father. Just mention me in your prayers.
Will you come back into the house, for God's sake? Father Brady's waiting for the offering.
It'll be a long time waiting.
Will you finish us for the sake of £5?
Oh, we'll not be finished, Molly. We'll maybe just be starting.
Well, give it to me and I'll give it to him.
I will not. It's bad enough having him and his ideas in the house without financing them.
Daniel Donovan. Will I number him among the dead?
I have it here, Father. Danny gave it to me for you. I was dreaming, so I was.
God bless you, Patrick. You're twice blessed, so you are.
Bye, Jimmy. Hello there, James. Not talking to me, are you?
Well, I won't go, Pat.
I was wondering when your next game's going to be. Be great crack to see you play with your daddy stick in your hands.
I know. I won't go, Pat. Daddy never played hurley. He was a football man.
Who in God's name told you that?
Uncle Don. I'll be bringing the stick round here. Started saving for one of my own.
What's the matter with your Uncle Pat? That's a fierce rush he's in.
I told him. About the stick.
Oh, did you?
Look at it, James. Isn't that the poorest, stoniest, boggiest stretch of muck you'll find in all Ireland? Sure, it's good for nothing but a few spuds and a couple of cows. And what sort of a life can they give a man, I ask you? 1976, and here we are like bloody old peasants, clawing at the soil for survival. Ah, Jesus, aren't we all the idiots for putting up with it? And they up in Dublin sitting on their big fat arses, eating their prawns and lipping their horses and tossing us the few shillings to keep our houses thatched and the Yanks happy.
He's right, you know, Jimmy.
Doesn't he like the country around here?
Like it. He loves it. You try taking him away.
Oh, Christ almighty. The Egypt's back on it. As if we hadn't got enough trouble already. No, all right, I'm coming. Patrick, I have told you not to come to this house when you've drink taken. You're not welcome. Now go away before you wake the child.
Molly Donovan, I've come for your man. I've things to say to him. Things that need saying, and things that won't keep.
Well, they'll have to keep. Danny's up on the bog with the children cutting turf.
All right, then I'll find him.
Oh, Patrick! Wait a minute, will you... Come in and have a drink with me before you go. One more won't do you any harm. Come on in. Come on in before you freeze the house out. You're after Dan's hide, I suppose, for telling the boy about the stick. Am I right?
Dan and me have a score to settle long-standing. The stick? What was the harm? He ran tittle-tattling to young James like a big girl. What was the harm of the child thinking it was his? Bit of comfort is all they thought, and where's the wrong in that?
You know something, Patrick? You're a worse liar drunk than you are sober. Sit down and take a talking to. I'm agreeing with you. You know, there's no harm at all in that boy believing that the stick is his father's. None. And I told that to Dan. But it wasn't comfort for the boy that you were seeking, like Dan. Oh, no. You were out for comfort for yourself. Now, if you want the truth, you're both climbing roughshod into that boy's heart and you're trampling all over it and you're using him. You're using his love for you both to stuff him up with the bloody rubbish you never had the guts to go out and practice for yourself. Now, he can't live your lives for you. The lives that you've never lived. Dear God, help him, he's having trouble enough living his own. Why don't you stop tearing him apart? Come up with something new. Something that'll show you both up for the dead old ducks that you are.
Well, thank you for the drink. Not your advice. Typical woman's talk. A man cares, Molly, deep in the marrow of his bones, not about sons and husbands, but nations and people. Causes beyond your understanding.
Nations are sons and husbands. If you care about them, you care about the rest. Now, why are you asking a young child to care? A child who's still working out what simple living and breathing is about.
It's his duty to decide and jump. And there's no pigs in the middle.
And if he doesn't? If he can't? Supposing that boy ends up demented or dead. Is that what you want for young Jimmy?
He's Tim's son. He's Irish. If the boy can't live up to that, he might as well be dead.
Patrick! Patrick!
And every year they take her out of her glass coffin and the washer and the dresser again in new clothes. And you know, after all these years, she's still pliable, like she was still breathing.
What does that mean, pliable? Not stiff. Floppy. You can still move her.
That's it, floppy. Still pliable.
Who's this?
St. Bernadette.
You go away to hell with that, Annie. You're not telling them that old fairy story again, are you?
It's true, I tell you. Didn't Father Brady tell me himself? Hasn't he been there, seen him with his own eyes?
It's hard to believe, Annie. She'd be like a slab of slate, so she would.
Sure, her saintliness protects her from the rigid mortars and decay. Are you ignorant or what? Any child knows that.
What child knows that?
I do, Miss Cody told us.
Didn't I tell you?
Well, James, what do you think of us now? Don't we deserve all we get?
But I don't believe it.
Ah, Martin, you're a darling. I see the central heating in me bungalow yet.
A giant?
So the story goes. Up there in that cave. You see the big black hole there? He lives up there. Black Brian, they call him. Though there's nothing black about him. Kind, decent fella, so they say.
What does he live on?
You bring up food and you leave it at the mouth of the cave. And the next time you go up, there wouldn't be a crumb of it left standing.
Do sheep or foxes eat it?
Maybe or maybe not.
What do you mean he's kind? How's he kind? What does he do?
Helps you with your problems. They say from up there he can see us people like a game of chess. From his great height, he can see ways out of fixes that down here we're blind to. So a man climbs up with a cake or a loaf of bread, leaves it at the mouth of the cave, and then shouts his troubles into the cave for Black Brian to hear.
Does he answer?
Not just then, but when the man comes down, if he cocks his ear to the breeze, he can hear the giant's voice whispering, telling him what to do.
Ah, Jesus, Annie, will you bake me a cake? I'm up there tomorrow. I'll ask for the winner of the Irish sweep. It'll save me waiting for James's revolution.
Danny Donovan! Pass!
Jesus, come on.
Danny Donovan!
That's Pat.
Has something happened, I wonder? Is Molly at home, is she?
He is, with the baby.
God help us.
Danny Donovan!
You're a cowardly bastard, do you know that?
Hello, Pat. Have you had a drop? You want to drink again? Well, come on. I'll have one with you. Just for old time's sake.
Ah, you drunken devil, you.
So there you are, clutching your kids round you like a true bloody martyr. You see the sanctimonious smirk on his face?
What do you want, Pat?
Want me? A fighting, hating, prehistoric reptile clawing at your heels, dragging you back into the slime, and you still recognise that I might want something from you? Intelligentsia, dreaming dreams of a love of men for all men. Never, never land.
I warned you, Pat. Go and peddle your hatred somewhere else, but not in the ears of my children.
It's not your children you're meaning, is it? But one lone child, young James there, cringing at your back. Or doesn't one memory serve me when I say that he's not your own, but the child of my friend? A fine man and a patriot. A real man. And God willing, one day he'll rise from his grave and cut out your heart for the gutless little pansy you're making of his son.
Pat, for God's sake, have a bit of sense. What about the children? God, hold on. Oh, for God's sake, Pat. Danny, he's drunk. Will you leave me alone? For God's sake. Danny's drunk. Get off him, will you?
John, will you drive us home?
Sure I will.
Eddie, keep an eye on it.
Oh, come on, don't start blaming yourself now for hitting him. Sure, he's bad enough when he's sober.
Aye, and when he's drunk, sure as Saint himself would take a poke at him.
It's not Pat. It's Jimmy. What it's done to him.
And you know, once he's got over the shock, I think it can only be good for the child.
What?
To realise that Pat and yourself are not the God-chosen fellas that you think you are. Anne-Marie? 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 Come on over here. That's a good girl. Jesus, no. Wait a minute. Oh. Bird. Come on, Anne-Marie, go down for a second. You go back into the kitchen as a good girl. Come on, Bird, come on. Oh! Oh, no.
My bird!
No, Jimmy,
no,
it wasn't.
Jimmy, it wasn't me. It was the baby. Jimmy, it was Anne-Marie. Come on, bird. Get out. Jimmy, don't do that. Jimmy, don't do that. Come on, bird. Jimmy. Jimmy, don't do that. Jimmy, stop it. Please stop. Jimmy, it wasn't me or the baby. Oh, Jimmy.
The child has the whole countryside just tried.
I had 2 horses trotting on the way to Sligo, 700 yards of cars streeling behind him. The young fellow's gone stone mad, Dan. He's got to be found and he's got to be stopped.
Well, if it's hide and seek he's playing, he'll find no better place than here. Isn't it chock full of humps and hidey holes?
He's playing nothing, idiot. He's sick. If you'd seen him on the bog, Molly, all hunched up and howling.
I'm not blaming the child. There's a couple of other heads that could fit that cap on. But if I hadn't lost that bird...
Oh, we'll find him soon enough. Haven't we the whole country out searching and crying his name?
I pray to God you're right, Gerard. It's going to be night in a couple of hours and then you'll not see the hand in front of you.
He can't be far away. He knows nothing of the countryside around here. He's hardly been a mile away from here until today.
Good day, Danny. No luck, I'm afraid, but we'll keep looking. I'd be surprised if he can't do any harm. If he's upset, like you say, he's probably hiding out somewhere.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think I know where he is.
Where?
I have him.
Yeah, let me look.
Oh, beyond the big cave.
Which one?
The big one. See his
Ah,
face?
I have him. Holy mother of God. How did he get up there, the young buck?
He's having a game of chess.
What?
Nothing I'm going up to.
Oh, you better hurry.
Huh?
There's somebody beating you to it.
The idiot, the stupid bloody idiot.
Who is it?
Miss Pat.
What?
God help us, he break both their necks.
Not if I get up there first.
Uncle Pat. Will you listen while I tell you something? Explain! James, son, I know you're there. I've seen you from below. Will you listen while I tell you something? Listen, please. Jimmy, I know what you're thinking about your Uncle Danny. And he's got rid of your bird. Destroyed it. But it's not true.
He promised me. He promised me I could keep him. As long as he wanted, and now he's killed him. Killed my bird.
He has not. It was a little child. They told me below. She opened the cage and your bird flew out. And that's the truth.
I don't believe it. It's lies you're telling me. It's lies. Don't trust you, any of you.
Don't trust me, okay, I'm not worth trusting. I was drunk down there on the bog. I said some very hurtful things. You can hate the life out of me, I deserve it. But you're not daft, are you, Jimmy? You know your Uncle Danny. Now, would he break a promise to you? He thinks the world of you, do you know that? And your Auntie Molly. They wouldn't hurt you for the whole world. Not for the whole wide world, they wouldn't. I've been wrong, Jim. All along, I've been wrong. I thought the way for you, the way out, after what you've been through, was to hate back. Well, us fighting down there, Dan and me. I saw what it did to you. There's no use, James. No use at all. It made you lash out in distrust. Especially after what you built up between you. You and Dan. He's here now, James. Come to take you home. Now, will you be the man I think you are? And come down with your Uncle Danny. You know, your Auntie Molly'd be worried sick, thinking you're blaming her for all this. And we know you're not. Not now you know the facts. Isn't that right, James? Isn't that right?
Is she here? Me Auntie Molly? Is she down there?
She is, of course. You look down and see her.
Come on now, James. Give your man a break. There's a hell of a height to climb for an old fella like him.
Jimmy!
Oh.
Come on, Molly.
You go ahead and go on the seat, yeah.
Thanks.
Haven't I always been a fierce good liar?